Good morning, my friends in Europe, Middle East, Asia Pac, Africa, and other parts of the world. I hope you're doing great today. Those of my PMP champions that are up in Americas, you're burning the midnight oil. You're going hard on this stuff. Hardcore studying. My oh my. I really hope you're going to get some rest. For those of you who are studying for the exam and you're meant to be awake right now, those of you in the places I mentioned, France, Germany, India, Pakistan, Egypt, Oman, all those buddies of mine trying to crank this stuff out. I hope you're doing awesome. My friends in the Americas, those of you in Maryland, my heart goes out to those folks, those families. It is so disheartening to see what the world is becoming. But let's dive into our PMP journey and talk about this. You see, I have buddies out in Maryland. I've actually done some training out there. And I'm waiting for the weekend to go by so I can touch base with some of those companies out there that I've trained. And I really hope that their folks are safe. But it's so disheartening. But anyway, on today's journey or touch point, I'm going to be talking to you about NLP. You know what NLP means? NLP, as you're getting ready for the PMP, means non-limiting perceptions. You need to think in a non-limiting way. You know, there are folks who have taken this exam in the past 1 or 2 weeks, and they might not have succeeded on the exam. They might be feeling discouraged. But I'm here to encourage you folks, to tell you that you need to have an NLP to kill the PMP. You got to have a non-limiting perception. You got to bust up in your head and say, I don't care what results I have seen. I'm going to go harder. I'm going to go more dogged. I'm going to go more rugged. I'm going to crush this thing with my bare hands. That needs to be your attitude as you get ready for this test again, as you're refiring. You can't let anything stop you. Think about it. What would have happened if Henry Ford said, I give up. I'm not getting the results I want right now. What would have happened if Alexander Graham Bell had said, I give up. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It's not working. I can't continue anymore. Ask yourself what would have happened. Probably no iPhones, because the whole concept would have gone down the drain, you know, with his limiting perception, if he had a limiting perception. So whatever you are doing in life, folks, you cannot afford to give up. You cannot afford to hop off the treadmill and say, I'm tired, or yell uncle and say no more. No, you got to go hard. You got to keep on pressing until you arrive at your goal, at your destination. Don't give up, folks. Think about it. Everything great in life, even the greats like Michael Jordan, they'll tell you how many times they failed, and how many times they had to learn. Look at people like Larry Bird. Do you know that he spent ages practicing his three-point act? He didn't get there in a day. 500 free throws every morning before going to school. That's the sign of a champion. You don't give up. Keep hitting those questions again and again. Be relentless. You know, so I want you to have a non-limiting perception about your success, about your prowess on this exam, okay? I know there are folks out there that may have had a little hiccup, didn't work out, but don't worry, I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of information in this session about people who did not give up on this journey, champions who did not give up. Speaking about the other side of the world, I have a student out there in Australia, and this student had tried and tried and tried on the PMP exam. How many tries was that? Tried and tried and tried. 3 tries. And this student did not succeed. Now, the big old, let's have a boot camp, right, was enacted in his company. And he ended up going for this boot camp, and the results were not pretty. Let's be honest, let's just say it was like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo to find people that succeeded from that boot camp. You ever found yourself in a boot camp where it's like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Because the instructor was just flat out hopeless. So the poor people, depending on their studying and trying to scramble and do things after the course, despite this firm out there in Australia spending thousands of dollars per person, it's ridiculous. Anyway, poor guy ends up failing, finds Praizion after his second try and says, I need help. So we begin to mentor and train and coach this student, although the student hadn't come fully on board our full-blown program. And unfortunately, it was the 3 strikes and you're out. So after the 3rd try, this student had to go on a probationary period, and started again a full year after. I told this student, you might want to do the CAP-M just to, keep that zone of studying going. But this student was so focused on his non-limiting perceptions and prowess. He said, Phil, I'm going to sit tight. I'm going to listen to your audio, the audio digest. I'm going to do whatever quizzes I need to do, but I'm going to come back next year. And he did. He came back. So took the exam. I said tried and tried and tried. I should have said tried again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. And try again. He did. 4th time. Studied, did some stuff, went in, couldn't succeed. On his 4th try. Now, you would have thought by this point, this student would have given up and would have just gone to have a pity party. Came back with a vengeance. And I came back alongside that student with an even greater vengeance. I said, look here, we're going to do everything under the sun. I'm going to create some new crazy quizzes for you. I'm going to create a new curriculum. I'm going to get all of our assortments, the whole cavalry. We're going to hit this exam hard, harder than ever before. So we had a calculated strategy, calculated. We had everything mapped out. We had a plan, and we kept going week after week after week. Long story short, this student ended up killing the exam with 3 above targets. I mean, I was out of my mind with happiness for this student. I was celebrating, doing cartwheels, the whole 9 yards of a celebration, for a touchdown. I tell you, I was so elated. But what you can learn from this student is don't give up. So what if you had a hiccup? So what? What's the big deal? The folks I told you about a few seconds ago, the Henry Fords of this world, the Graham Bells of this world, they are testimony to the fact that you should never give up. What happens when people like Edison say, I give up? You don't have that light no more, do you? What would have happened if he had given up? We would have been in the dark, and I can tell you, it wouldn't have been very pretty. Candles, just imagine a world with candles. Don't even let me go there. So you gotta have a non-limiting perception. If you fail once, it needs to be a vehicle for you to move forward. My mentor, John C. Maxwell, says, fail forward. You gotta fail forward, you know. One of the things I like about Agile is those regular touch points. Because if you're failing, you very quickly realize, right? That needs to be your mindset and your perception when you're taking this exam, okay? So I don't want you to begin to limit yourself saying, oh, I can't do it. It's beyond my tolerance for ambiguity and all sorts of ridiculous stuff. All right, don't do that. Now I'm going to share with you really quickly a few videos that I've got out here on YouTube, because I think if you read some of the feedback that my bosses and champions leave on these pages, I think it would encourage you. Take a look at this one. So this is how to do your PMP exam brain dump like a boss. But I want you to read some of the comments here from some of my champions, some of my bosses here. Take a look at John Calendar. Says, this was a great video. I passed my PMP exam today following this advice. Take a look at another one here. Holly Ward says, this is an absolute lifesaver. His videos are by far the best videos out there. It's too kind of you, Holly. And says, PMP first try. Thank you. Salil Shibad says, thank you for all the videos. Using your tips, I was able to clear the PMP on the first attempt. You see, there's so many folks who have done this. And I want to encourage you to focus. Rhea Jenkins says, this method will save you so much on the exam. It helps you stay focused, and if you really know the processes, the ITTOs are easier to recall. Thank you. You see, there are so many folks who come back and say, I killed the exam. You see, so don't feel that you cannot do it. All right, look at ETA. Phil's videos helped me a great deal, especially the one that reminds you to review all definitions a day before your exam. I passed my PMP. So here's what I can say to anyone looking to take the PMP exam. The PMP exam tests your resolve. You need stamina to go for 3 hours. It's no joke. And that's true. It is indeed no joke. It is indeed no joke. Ricardo says, hey Phil, I'd like to let you know I just passed the PMP exam a couple of hours ago. You know, by the time a student comes back and doesn't go on the crazy night about town before they tell you that they passed the exam, you know that they're really finding value from what's out there, and they are elated about their success. So I want to encourage you folks. I look forward to getting the same news from you, that you aced the exam, that you killed the exam, that you taught it a lesson, that you brought it back. You brought your A game to the test. It is absolutely doable. So think about the likes of Edison and Bell and Ford. Without those folks staying dogged, rugged, and on it, you wouldn't have had the great success, okay? Those of you who haven't taken the exam and you feel like giving up and you're like, Phil, I can't study no more. I find it hard. You know, I've got things that are going on in my life, and whatever you want to give me as an excuse, I want you to stay on it and don't be discouraged, okay? Be rugged, be dogged, and be tough. Some of the other things I wanted to share with you today revolve around people's exam experiences and this whole journey to success. So when I say sign up for success, like you can see on the screen here, sign up for success is really a sign up in your head that you can do it. You know, I don't want you thinking that success is all about going through a program and, you know, spending a lot of money. That is not signing up for success. Signing up for success starts from you the student saying, I can do it. I will do it. I will bring my A game. You see, I want you to get amped and I want you to get psychologically motivated. You see, the PMP exam revolves around the 49 processes of project management. That's really what it revolves around, the 49 processes. And in the course we have online on the Praizion site, we hammer these 49 processes. We really hammer them out. I often hear from students, Phil, I don't know what to do. I need to go for a course. I want to sign up. In fact, in the past number of days, I've heard from so many students, Phil, I want to sign up, but I don't know what to do. Okay? I'm going to show you really quickly what to do to sign up for these courses that we have that go deep into this stuff. You want to go to Praizion.com to start with, and that's going to direct you to this page I'm showing you right here. Okay, so after you've resolved in your head that you're going to succeed, then come to this site. Okay, go to the training tab and just hit that PMP online 35-hour course right there. Hit that, and that brings up the page where you can sign up. Okay, and you can see it's very affordable. 1 month access is $175. Now, in addition to studying on the learning system, you're also going to be equipped with this book of 536 pages called Project Management Essentials. And it's totally free. You don't have to pay that. It's going to be free when you sign up for this course. So we're going to equip you with a system that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. In fact, I'll show it to you right now. This system is broken down into chapters and then subdivided into smaller modules. So you've got chapter 1, 2, and 3. But when you get to chapter 4, if we just crack this one open, you see that chapter 4 is broken out into discrete components of developing the charter, developing the project management plan, so on and so forth. Let's click on one of these just to see what's in there. So when you click on Manage Project Knowledge, you can see there's a 17-minute, my goodness, 17-minute video on one process. 17 minutes. 17 minutes is the time some people would take to explain 3 processes. You see, but in preparing for success, you need to go from end to end. Don't cut corners. You know, you're going to sit down, take notes, make a big old party of the preparation. You know, open up your study guide. You know, take notes. Don't just use the PMBOK guide. Yeah, the study guide I showed you. You want to open that up. You want to take notes. You want to get into the zone. You want to focus. A lot of people trying to study at home. I'm like, you know you can't study at home. You're fooling yourself, you know. You need to go somewhere where you're going to be in the zone and you're not going to be distracted by the likes of Oprah and Wendy and all those folks on TV. Or maybe it's Jerry, Judge Judy, and all those folks. I don't know. Those things are fun to watch sometimes, but if you're distracted by TV, folks, you got to take yourself away from TV, take yourself away from your stakeholders. I'm talking about your loved stakeholders, family members. Don't you just love it when family comes to stay in the middle of your PMP prep? A poor student of mine, Dana, out of Atlanta, said, Phil, I had to send my husband and my sons away for the weekend because they weren't letting me get any studying done. It's true. And at the end of the day, Dana honed in on her studying. And they went away on a Friday. She was delighted to be all alone Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday goes into the test center. Boom! Kills that thing. Big time with 4 above targets. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. She could have said, oh, I want to give up. I'm doing a master's degree. I've got a job. I've got family. No. You got to develop a strategy. Develop a strategy. And that's exactly what she did. Developed a strategy, went on board this system of ours, and honed in all the information, had it down pat, went in and taught the exam who was boss. 4 above targets. So this system is going to go end to end. And we also have a separate section for Agile. We give you a great overview of Agile, try to get you into the proverbial Agile mindset so that you're thinking Agile, right? You're acting Agile. And when you get into the exam, if you did come across any Agile questions, you should be able to tackle them sufficiently with this Agile module that we have here. So this is an end-to-end coverage. We also have a mock exam that is so ridiculously difficult. We've got a mini mock exam of 1 hour. We've got the full-blown mock exam, as you can see down here, of 4 hours. And that's how to prepare, folks. You got to put yourself on a timetable. You got to have targets. You got to have goals. But again, starts off with your positive mental attitude, your PMA, your non-limiting perception of yourself. You got to think like a boss. You got to think about yourself as a power broker, as someone who is loaded with power in your brain power. Don't look at yourself like a namby-pamby person. You got to be ferocious, rugged, dogged, and tough. Okay? This is for someone who is feeling like, taking their study guide and throwing it on the pile of trash somewhere. Okay? I want to encourage you. Don't do it. Don't do it. There are a lot of people I know. I could tell you about another student out in the Southwest. This student had been trying to take the exam, not for 2 years, not for 5 years, not for 6 or 7 years. It was a decade of preparation. And this student had taken the exam time and time and time and time again. It was on try number 8. You've probably heard me talk about this if you've tuned into the channel. I talk about this student all the time because it's very unique that someone would stay on it for a decade. And on the 8th try, my goodness, I almost lost my mind when this student called me to tell me that it was a success. Finally, I could go on and on. Or is it Debbie, the student who spent $2,500 on some so-called PMP exam prep? Poor lady had spent a ton of money without a job, wondering, what am I going to do? Have you ever felt so pushed to the wall that you needed to go on LinkedIn and cry out for help to anyone who was out there to help you? This student cried out for help on PMI's forum on LinkedIn. And I happened to be browsing, as I normally do every now and again. I haven't been there in a little bit for this 6th edition. I know there's stuff out there, but this student, I happened to find this student crying for help. I failed on my 2nd attempt. The company I forked out money to, they don't care. Long story short, told this student, we got a system. We got a system that can help you. So what did Debbie do? Debbie came on this system, studied like no man's business, and at the end of the day, took this 4-hour mock exam. And at the end of the 4-hour mock exam, I said, Debbie, you know what? I don't think it's a very good idea for you to take the PMP exam just yet. You see, That's what our system will do for you. Our system will alert me as to whether you're truly ready or not. And one of the things that I love to do is speak to students before they take the exam. So, hey, if you are a student and you're on the learning system and you're thinking of taking your exam by night, and by night I mean you're secretly going to the Prometric Test Center, you're like, I don't want to tell Phil. Hey, you need to let me know ahead of time, and you need to schedule some time with me. Okay, put that down in your calendar. You gotta schedule some time with your buddy Phil. And hey, if we have those Saturday sessions, when we have our champions that come to speak to us, and I'm on and I'm asking you, are there questions, and you don't say anything, you're shortchanging yourself. You need to speak to me and tell me, hey Phil, I'm getting ready to take my exam. Do you want to give me a quick run through? I would be more than happy. As one of my students, Sarah from Pepperdine University did, she said, Phil, I'm thinking of taking the exam. Can you kick the tires and, just tell me, am I ready? Am I good to go? And I said, okay, let's do a little test. And as I normally do, I did this test with this student, and at the end of the day, I was asking questions and this student was giving me answers. Fire for fire. I mean, she wasn't even missing a beat. And I said, look, Sarah, why did you waste my time? Go take the exam. You really think I can take it? I'm like, look, call me when you got something sensible to say. She goes in, takes the exam. Now, this is a picture from the Pepperdine University LA class. Sarah was in this class, and those are her colleagues. You can see all three of those guys are now PMPs, and Sarah, whose picture I'm not showing here, was in this class. She killed the exam, 4 above targets. How do you pull off 4 above targets when you got a 50, low 50s in a mock exam? How do you do that? You see, folks, I tell you, failing is not the end. She failed the mock exam, but decided to load up on ammo. Studied and studied. You see, the thing is, some people take the mock exam and they jump into the real exam immediately. No, don't do that. Take the mock exam, relentlessly pound out those errors that you found. A lot of people, they're bypassing the low-hanging fruit. And this could go for any course that is well put together. There are times when you take a look at the results and you're like, oh, yeah, I think I know what I did wrong. No, don't think you know what you did wrong. Comb through the detail. Every single facet of your result, you want to comb through it. Comb through every question. Narrow down what happened, and then return to the mock exam with a vengeance, and then take the second mock exam, because we've got 2 ridiculous 4-hour mock exams. And that's why I highly advise you sign up for our training. It would be easy for me to say, oh, you can go here or there or there. But if you know that a solution works, why wouldn't you tell people about it? Which is why I'm telling you about the solution that lots of these folks have taken to pass the exam. So Sarah is one of my bosses, I talked about the firm out in Maryland, and I really hope the folks there are fine. But when I was training folks out there, I had a PMP course going on at the same time. I had to call Sarah, that student, to rescue me as I was training in Maryland. She's now one of my bosses. I call my bosses to help me out, sometimes to speak. But that wouldn't have happened if she had given up on the 50, the low 50, that she got on a mock exam. You see what I'm saying? So you cannot afford to give up, folks. Don't give yourself the excuse. Don't give your family the excuse. And don't give me the excuse, you know. I know you can succeed. So you're probably wondering, this course, who provides this course? Well, it's from Praizion Media. Praizion Media is a registered education provider with the Project Management Institute. And we provide lots of training for firms all around the world. We've trained everyone from the FBI to the US Army, the Army Corps of Engineers, who you can see on the screen here. This was out in Arkansas. And these folks, if you look carefully, they're trying to put together the dreaded page 25, that miserable page that everyone hates. You know, also train the Department of Commerce. This is from our General Project Management Masterclass series. And you can see students all around the world are trying to learn how to manage projects, how to do it in a pragmatic and meaningful manner. And this is another image from the Department of Commerce, you know, out there. This other picture that I showed you, you can see them putting together page 25 again at Pepperdine University. And someone says, but Phil, why do I even need to get PMP certified? What's the big deal? I already manage projects. Well, the PMP exam is becoming the new normal, folks, in project management. You can see in this image way back in the 80s, there were not that many PMPs, and you can see the number began to rapidly grow. It began to rapidly grow around the late 90s, and in 2006, you can see there were 224,000 PMPs. I took my exam in 2005. I was probably number 200 and something thousand. But right now, at the time we speak, folks, this number is rapidly approaching 0.9 million. Almost a million people in the world are PMPs. How cool is that? You see, you're in good company. Someone says, Phil, I don't know how to put together my application. Come on board our program. We have a lot of videos that go over this. And if you're stumped, you can always send in your application to say, hey, Phil, I need help. I want you to take a look at it. I want you to see if these numbers across the projects add up. I want you to see if this makes sense. And a lot of times I tell people, send it to us before you send it to the PMI. Because if you end up giving them some technical babble, they're going to kick it back. The PMI doesn't want to know about the rocket science project you worked on. They want to know, did you manage a project? And if you did manage a project, how many hours across the process groups? Just like you can see on the screen. They don't want to know the technical details, folks. So you don't want to inundate the poor reviewer who doesn't know anything about rocket science. You don't want to inundate them with the technicalities, because that's not really going to do much. All right, so again, you want to come on the program so that when you send in your application, you know you're sending in an application that has been vetted by someone who has been there, done that, looked at applications ad nauseum. In fact, in this next picture, the folks at this table, you can't see their faces. They knew they needed to send their application. The finger pointing to the little card on the table. These are my champions who have gone through the process of sending Phil the application. Phil looks at the application and says, go ahead or do not go ahead. All right? So today, what we're talking about is a non-limiting perception for your PMP exam. You cannot afford to limit yourself. All right? If you've been doing that, please stop, recondition your mind. Remember, you've got non-limiting brain power, okay? You got to bring it. One of my students was joking. She said, Phil, I'm the first PMP in my family. I'm smart. I said, yes, you are. You are smart. Some of you are going to be the first PMP, first generation PMP in your family. You're smart. You're going to do it. You're going to bring it. You're going to kill it. But you have to stay rugged, dogged, and tough. You got to be like a junkie on all things PMBOK. You got to take that study guide. You're going to flip it over and read it. Read it till it sticks in your head. Till I wake you up in the morning and I tell you, tell me the flow of WPD, WPI, WPR. You don't even miss a beat. You know the processes. You say, Phil, it's direct and manage, the monitoring and controlling process group, back to monitor and control project work, out comes WPR, and that goes to monitor risks, manage community. I mean, you're rattling it off because you've brought your A game. You've become rugged, dogged, and tough. You see, someone says, Phil, I spend so much time on the road, I spend so much time on my job, and so on and so forth. And I say, look here, I've been in the same boat. And that's why I've put together solutions to help you. You take a look at the solution I'm about to show you right here. This solution is one that has helped a ton of people maximize their study time. If you hover over training on the Praizion site and you hit PM audio, 20-hour PMP review, this is a 20-hour dive into the PMBOK guide, piece by piece. But watch this, on audio. You see, a lot of folks are gifted auditory learners. Like me, I'm a gifted auditory learner. I listen to it, it sticks. You'll have the pleasure of listening to Emily and I for 20 plus hours on, if you were buying this on CD, it would be 24 CDs. This is a 1 gigabyte download of 20 hours of audio. You see how I'm trying to equip you for success so that you have the non-limiting perception. Take a look at it right here. This is going to give you a non-limiting perception as you listen. There's a lot of positivity, there's a lot of motivation, you know. Just listen to it round the clock. If you're a gifted auditory learner, go to the Praizion.com site, go to training, click on 20-hour MP3, just like that. It's going to open up this page, and if you wanted the CDs, those are going to be available coming this week. But right now, the purchase will enable you get an instant download. You see, these are ways you can position yourself for success by putting tools that will equip you, that will help you. All right? I'm trying my best to put tools in place to help you based on your learning style. You know, in the study guide that I keep talking about, in the study guide, we have over 50 templates that underscore what the ITTOs talked about really are. You know, some people say, Phil, I've never seen a project scope statement. I've never seen this document or that document. Well, we got a bunch of them in the book. Now, let me drop some gold for you. If you are getting ready for the PMP exam and you meet all those requirements and so on, and you are really sure you're going to do this, I want you to go to the PMI's website. You might want to think of becoming a member of the PMI. Why do I say that? I say that because if you are a member of the PMI, you get a PDF copy of the PMBOK guide. You see that? And your exam is going to be less than if you were not a member. You see, membership will cost you $139. The exam will cost you $405. Add them up. You get $544 versus the $555. And in addition to that, watch this. If you are a member and you log in to the PMI site, do you know that if you scroll down, voila, there is a download, PDF download of the PMBOK guide. That comes with the membership for nothing. Now, if you are a member, I'm going to drop some more gold for you after you get PMP certified, folks. Do you know that if you hit projectmanagement.com, you have access to a ton of tools, webinars, and information that will propel you to even greater excellence on your project management journey. Did you know that? Webinars. I've taken webinars. I've taken all-day webinars on all sorts of things, from change management to business to scheduling. All of that stuff is right there on projectmanagement.com, folks. See what I'm saying? There is a ton of gold in being a member. So if you take a look at this site, if you hit webinars, you got live webinars, on-demand webinars, even earning PDU information. Let's hit live webinars there. And this takes us to a page. And I'm being reminded, I've got my ACP renewal, my SP renewal coming up. And it shows me how many PDUs I have been in the process of earning. Very interesting. But anyway, take a look at this webinar coming up on the 2nd. Making the most out of existing data. Isn't that cool? Free webinar for you. Take a look at this one down here. First steps towards agility. Incorporating agile practices in a waterfall environment. This is what many folks need. Many folks getting PMP certified, they hit a brick wall. This is going to help you. What can soccer teach us about project management? Our friends at FIFA, don't even let me get started with FIFA, because sometimes those guys, I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on with their funny technology. But anyway, I hope you're enjoying the matches. But that said, this is a great webinar on what soccer can teach us about project management. See that? So if you are a member of the PMI, folks, you're going to end up carting away a lorry load of information. And there's some pretty interesting topics here. Cheating just a little bit. Would you like to learn how to cheat and why to cheat just a little bit? These are interesting topics, folks. That's all I'm trying to say. So being a member of the PMI is, in the long run, going to be more economical. It's going to be more sensible to be a member and cart away all of those great perks. Now, I didn't show you on projectmanagement.com something else. On projectmanagement.com, you can also belong to the community, check out blogs and polls. There are also templates, various templates that can help you in project management that are exclusive to PMI members, you see. So I want to encourage you folks, do it smart, okay? Align yourself for success. I'm not a shareholder. You know, PMI is not paying me to promote being a member. The reason why I'm telling you to be a member is because I think you stand to gain something from it. So I'm not in cahoots with the PMI, just FYI. I don't get any kickbacks from you being a member of the PMI, but I'm a member and I found it to be useful. When you're renewing your PMP, it will cost less. when you're taking multiple exams like I have taken with the PMI, it costs less. Okay? The whole process at the end of the day makes more sense to be a member. And with those webinars, plugging yourself into the community, it is priceless. Priceless. All right. Well, I hope this gave you some ideas, some insights, how to get back on the horse. Don't forget, folks, if you're really trying to do this stuff on your own, that is not smart. Go to the Praizion.com site. Sign up for the 35-hour course I've shown you and come on board the journey, as there are things to talk about, as there are comments and questions. That you have someone who will be getting back to you with suggestions, with ideas. So you want to go to Praizion.com, you want to hit up this page, and you want to select whatever access you're looking for. 1 month, 2 months, 3 or 6. Some people just go for the 6 months, and those folks who go for the 6 months, as we come up with all manner of updates and all manner of additional items, those folks get those items on request for free. You see why the 6 months makes sense? So hit me up with questions, folks. Questions, comments, concerns. Is there anything that you would like to know a little bit more about that I can help you out with? Mr. Mohammed is awake as usual. Well, it's great to see you on here, and thank you for joining. And you said, I studied before the same material for PMBOK 5. Oh, you studied our material for the 5th edition. Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and thank you for joining as usual. Remember, if you have any questions whatsoever, drop them down below. After this conference, drop them down below, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have when we get done with this broadcast. All right? So thank you very much, and I will speak to you guys again soon. Don't forget, the website is www.praizion.com, Praizion.com. Thank you very much, and bye for now.